Welcome. Today we're looking really closely at debt review. Now, this is something set up to help millions, give them breathing space financially, but, well, it seems how you approach it makes all the difference. It can be smooth sailing or a total disaster.
That's exactly what our sources show. We basically got this comparison, right? Pulled from Debtfree Magazine, it maps out two paths. One is the perfect debt review, everything done by the book, works like a charm.
And the other.
The disaster debt review, it's really a warning. Shows how pretty avoidable mistakes can just lead to total confusion. More stress, not less.
So our mission for you listening is to figure out what separates these two paths. What are the absolute must-dos? What are the red flags to watch out for? We want you to end up with financial freedom, not, deeper in trouble. There's some jargon here, so we'll make sure to break that down as we go. Okay, let's unpack this roadmap to relief. Right, let's start at the very beginning. That moment you think, okay, I need help. In the perfect scenario, the key isn't just being desperate. It's doing your homework first.
Yes, research. Looking online, maybe talking to someone you trust who's actually been through it, taking your time, basically.
And preparation is key, you mentioned.
It's the absolute foundation. If you go to that first meeting, that initial chat with your debt counselor, and you've got everything ready, your account statements, bank details, pay slips, things move much faster, you get straight to finding solutions.
It shows you're serious.
Exactly.
And that first conversation itself, what should it really cover? Is it just about lower payments? Because the sources say a good debt counselor talks about pros and cons.
That's right. The good ones look at the whole picture. They'll help you spot where your money's going, maybe suggest ways to save, change spending habits. It's not just about the numbers.
So tackling the root cause, not just the symptom, is that the immediate giveaway between a good start and a bad one?
I'd say so, yeah. It's holistic. And they're organized right from the start. You shouldn't leave that meeting empty-handed. You need copies of everything you signed. Crucially, that includes the official form saying you're applying.
That paperwork gives you some control, I guess. What else should happen right away in this perfect start?
Immediate actions. You need to sort out your banking. That often means opening a new account. Cancel your old debit orders tied to the debts going into review. And, this is important, get some coaching on how to handle collection calls.
Coaching, like what to say.
Exactly. A script, some confidence building, so you feel in control from day one, not harassed.
Okay, that sounds structured. Now, let's flip it. The bad beginning, how does that usually kick off?
Often, it's not you seeking help, it's a cold call, an aggressive one. And they might say something like, and this is the massive red flag our sources highlight the government asked them to call.
Whoa, okay. That sounds dodgy.
Legitimate debt counselors generally don't cold call like that. Definitely not claiming government backing. It's often some unregulated middleman, or worse, a scam. And the problem starts right there. People agree over the phone, maybe without signing anything concrete, without really getting what debt review involves legally.
And the first time they realize something's actually happened is...
Not a helpful check-in call, no. It's usually when they're at the shops, try to use their credit card, and boom, declined.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, total panic. They call their bank or credit provider, and that's when they find out they've been put under debt review. That complete lack of communication, no proper paperwork up front, it just creates instant chaos and leaves them feeling powerless. Big stress from the get-go. Okay, so you've applied. What happens next is all about communication and structure. In the good scenario, the debt counselor keeps you in the loop. They get updated info from your creditors about exactly how much you owe. These updates have a technical name, COBs, Certificates of Balance.
COBs. Okay, so those are like the official current numbers for each debt.
Precisely. And they use those COBs to build the repayment plan. It's transparent. You get a proposal that's fair, something you can actually manage. Maybe it runs over, say, 60 months, and they explain that clearly.
Makes sense. And then you set up the payments.
Right. You usually start making one single payment each month. Often this uses a system called Debitech, which gives you control. And that payment goes to a neutral third party, a payment distribution agent, or PDA.
A PDA, like a central hub.
Exactly. They take your one payment and split it up, making sure each creditor gets their proper restructured share according to the plan. Very streamlined.
I can see how that would simplify things massively. And the smooth process helps legally, too.
It does. Because the plan is fair, based on those accurate COBs, your creditors are likely to agree to it. When everyone's on board, the debt counselor can take it to the National Consumer Tribunal, the NCT.
The NCT, what's that?
Think of it as a specialist tribunal for consumer matters. If everyone agrees it's you and your creditors, they can issue a consent order. It makes the plan legally binding, but it's generally much cheaper and faster than going through the regular courts.
Okay, now here's where it gets really interesting. So you, the client, you're involved. You sign an affidavit saying you agree, but you don't actually have to go to the tribunal hearing.
Usually not, no. It's often handled digitally these days.
Yeah.
Super efficient. Saves a ton on legal fees compared to, a messy court fight.
Right. You avoid all that conflict. Okay, so that's the smooth path. Now, the disaster plan. What defines that?
Oh, it's all about frustration, disconnection. You simply cannot get hold of your debt counselor. Your calls aren't returned, emails bounce, you get transferred endlessly, you feel totally abandoned, stuck.
That sounds awful. And this breakdown must lead to actual financial problems.
I'm big time. Like maybe an old debit order you thought was canceled suddenly goes off your account,
Yeah.
wipes out your grocery money. You call the debt counselor's office, maybe speak to some admin staff. They just tell you to sort it out with the bank, promise to look into the missing money, but then nothing. Radio silence.
That's a huge breach of trust, surely.
Absolutely. And it breeds suspicion. So later, maybe there is a legitimate legal issue and a real attorney needs you to sign court papers. But because you've had such a terrible experience, you assume they're part of the problem too. You block their number, hoping it'll all just go away.
Wow. So the initial bad service makes you actively reject the help you actually need later on. Yeah, that's a terrible cycle, driven purely by that first breakdown in communication and trust.
Right. So debt review isn't quick. It's often a few years. So for the perfect follow-through, the focus really shifts. It's less about the debt counselor now and more about your discipline.
Sticking to the plan.
Exactly. Sticking tight to that budget, learning new ways to shop, maybe using cash more, cutting back. And here's the thing. In the good scenario, people actually start building up small savings each month, even while paying off debt.
Yeah. Savings. While under debt review, that shows real change has happened. But the debt counselor still plays a role helping optimize things.
Yeah, practical help. Like, they might introduce you to an insurance broker, someone who can look at your existing policies, especially things like credit life cover. That's the insurance often bundled with loans or credit cards.
Right, the expensive stuff you're often forced to take.
Sometimes, yeah. So maybe you can replace that with a cheaper, standalone policy or reduce other insurance costs. And that cash you save.
It goes towards paying off the debt faster.
You got it. Speeding things up. You're tracking progress using those statements from the PDA. If there's a query, you sort it out quickly with the debt counselor. And those collection calls, you handle them confidently now because you got that training back at the start. You can even laugh off the obvious scammer calls.
So you feel protected, organized. Okay. Now, the flip side. The disaster follow-through. What's happening there?
Total disconnection. Utter confusion. Creditors are still calling, saying they haven't received payments, even though you think you're paying the PDA.
But why would that happen?
Could be admin errors upstream, or maybe payments were missed. But the client is just lost. Their panicked reaction. They change their phone number to stop the calls.
Oh no. So they cut themselves off completely.
Exactly. They don't tell the debt counselor, don't tell the PDA. So now nobody can reach them. Months go by. No updates, no accountability. They're flying blind.
And they probably haven't fixed the underlying money habits either.
Precisely. They're still vulnerable, still maybe looking for a quick fix. And that's when they become prime targets for, the next scam. Someone calls, promises they can get them out of debt review, and magically get them new credit.
The ultimate temptation trap.
Totally. So they stop paying the PDA, thinking this new person will sort it. They pay this scammer instead, lose that money, and end up even more confused than before. They might not even remember who their original debt counselor was. It's just a mess.
Yeah. That really highlights it. That organization, that consistent communication, it's not just admin. It's like a shield. It protects you from mistakes, from falling for scams. The disconnected person is just so vulnerable.
Okay, so we've seen these two journeys play out. Let's talk results. The end game. What does real success look like? Is it just getting to a zero balance?
According to the sources, it's way more than that. When that debt stress finally lifts, people report sleeping better, they have energy to exercise, they actually perform better at work, maybe even get a promotion or a raise.
Wow, it impacts everything.
It really does. And they use any extra money, like that raise, or maybe a bonus wisely. They throw it at the remaining debt, speeding up the final stretch.
They stay engaged right to the end.
Yes. Then, as they near the finish line, the debt counselor works with the creditors one last time, confirms all the final figures. The client makes that very last payment to the PDA, and then comes the big moment. They receive the official clearance certificate. It's called a Form 19.
Form 19, that's the golden ticket. That's the one. It's the legal proof. Your name is cleared, the debt review flag comes off your credit report, you're officially out.
That must feel amazing.
Absolutely. And crucially, the sources say they celebrate, sure, but responsibly. They've learned new habits. They don't just rush back into borrowing. Maybe they need a car. Instead of financing the whole thing, they use the saving habit they built up to put down a really solid deposit on a good secondhand one. It shows a fundamental shift.
From relying on credit to relying on savings, that's the real win.
Exactly.
And the disaster outcome. Where does that person end up?
Just uncertainty, total fog. The
Yep.
debt's likely still there, possibly even worse because of interest, maybe legal fees, definitely the money lost to that final scammer. They're left wondering, is the debt review even over? Can that first debt counselor still help? But they probably can't even find the paperwork anymore. Just regret. Regret they weren't more organized from the start.
Oof, that's a harsh lesson.
It really is. The big takeaway here seems to be, look, the difference between the smooth ride and the car crash isn't really about luck. It comes down to following the process properly, keeping those communication lines open, and actually being willing to change your habits.
Like that example you gave in the successful case, if they have a small emergency, like a car repair, they might have saved enough to cover the insurance excess.
Right. They use their savings buffer. In the disaster scenario, same problem hits, and they've got no choice but to borrow again, immediately trapping themselves right back where they started.
So preparedness, communication, discipline. That seems to be the formula for making debt review work for you, leading to real, lasting control. The help is there, but you've got to engage with it seriously.
Yeah, absolutely. And, that brings us to a final thought, something for you to chew on, this perfect path. It really forces you to confront your spending, commit to some pretty big lifestyle changes, not just shuffle payments around. So if you were facing this, think about it. Which part of that perfect progress would you find tougher to stick with over, say, 5 years? Would it be building and sticking to that savings habit month after month? Or would it be maintaining that consistent, clear communication with your debt counselor, even when things get tough or boring? Something to consider as you think about your own financial path.